What's up everybody, Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another Daily Deck Tech video, and today we have another viewer request. Pretty classic commander coming at you. Will be Miirym Sentinel Wyrm. The request was that to keep it a max of $250. Well, I did you one better. I tried to make a functional deck for about half that budget, so that way you can add upgrades the way you want to see fit. Gives you a little bit of starting room for things out there. But without further ado, let's get straight into the deck tech, shall we? So we have Miirym Sentinel Wyrm, a very popular commander, and actually a very affordable commander compared to a lot of dragons out there. Miirym is a 6/6 4/3 generic, a green, a blue, and a red, has flying, ward 2, and whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of it, except the token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary. So we're going to make lots of tokens of different dragons throughout our deck, hopefully get some value out of them, and then bring in the beats with our dragons. I want to give a disclaimer. Well, like when we come to budgets, budget builds for dragons, dragons have the creature type tax that a lot of folks will talk about. Dragons, angels, etc., where a lot of them will be generically good and demand a high premium. So we don't have any of the ancient dragons in here, like ancient copper dragon, ancient bronze dragon, ancient silver dragon. A lot of those are like $60, $70 at this point, need more reprints, and so we're sticking with some low to the ground in terms of budget creatures today. And so who are those creatures? Well, we're going to start off with a classic, a Tarka World Render. And it's 6/4 for 7. And yes, I know 7 is pretty high up there in terms of mana cost, but again, like if you're playing at bracket 2, this should be fine. Atarka is a classic, although it has been power crept. It flies, it tramples, and whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. So once Atarka gets out there, you're ideally, think of this as like Crater Hoof we have at home. It doesn't boost all of your things, but dragons are generally very powerful anyway, and giving them all double strike is essentially like Crater Hoofing. We have Broodcaller Scourge, which is a 5/7 for 7 again. It's flying, and whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to a player, you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to that damage from your hand onto the battlefield. A lot of your dragons are very big. You're going to be able to plop more dragons onto the battlefield with this card. And with us having access to green, I did put ramp spells in here, so hitting a 7-drop isn't going to be as hard as it would in, say, if we were mono red or something like that. We have Draconic Mirrorless, which are when it dies, you may search your library for a dragon card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, so it's a dragon tutor. We have Dragon Lord Servant, dragon spells you cast cost 1 less. Dragon Speaker Shaman, dragon spells you cast cost 2 less. Earthquake Dragon, so this spell costs X less, where X is the total mana value of dragons you control. Lots of dragons cost a lot of mana, so it's pretty easy to get Earthquake Dragon out rather quickly. Even these small ones here, these Draconic Mirrorless, you know, they're dragon-born, and so they can lower that cost by nickel and diming it down as well. But it's a 10/10 with flying and trample, and you can sack a land to return it from your graveyard to your hand. We have Ganex Astral Hunter, flying, and whenever Ganex Astral Hunter or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you create a treasure token. And you can choose a background if it's a commander. So if you ever want this to be your commander, go for it. Goblin and Archomancer allows your green and blue spells to cost 1 less. It's a 2-drop. Hellkite Charger, so whenever Hellkite Charger attacks, you may pay 7. If you do, untap all attacking creatures, and after this phase, there's an additional combat phase, has flying and haste. This is pretty good. If you do have plenty of mana out there, once you've started getting your attacking going, getting those the like 1 extra combat phase per turn can help you close out a game pretty quickly. We have Intet the Dreamer. This is one of my favorite cards from back in the long ago. It has flying, and whenever Intet the Dreamer deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 3. If you do, exile the top card of your library face down. You may look at that card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may play that card without paying its mana cost, or as long as Intet remains on the battlefield, which is pretty good. So if you're going to swing with Intet, I would highly recommend not playing your land initially. So if you top deck a land, you can put the land into play. But otherwise, you know, if you top deck Earthquake Dragon, that's a free dragon there. We have Limrith, Desert Doom, which is flying, and it has Ward 4 as long as it's untapped. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Then if you have fewer than 3 cards in your hand, draw cards equal to the difference. This helps give you a little bit of card draw here, and helps if somebody's made you discard or you've just played a whole bunch of your stuff, helps you catch back up in the card race. We have Kega, the Tide Star, a classic commander card, originally from Champions of Kamigawa. It is a flying spirit dragon, and when it dies, you gain control of target creature. Pretty good, you know. Dragons are a pretty big threat. People are going to kill it, and then you get to take control of people's stuff. We have Corlessa, Scales Singer. You may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you can cast dragon spells from the top of your library. Pretty good overall. We have Omni Changeling, which is Changeling. It has Convoke, and you may have this creature enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has Changeling, so have it enter as one of your big spooky dragons. Patron of the Arts. When it enters the battlefield or dies, create a treasure token. Gets you a little bit of mana advancement. And again, these little 3s and 4 dragons are going to nickel and dime down the cost on your Earthquake Dragon. We have Rapacious Dragon. When it enters, create 2 treasures. We have Renari, Merchant of Marvels. You may cast dragon spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. This also goes well with Intet, so if you have dragons out there exiled with Intet, you can then cast them with flash so long as you have Renari out there. Ryusei, the Falling Star. So when Ryusei, the Falling Star dies, it deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. We got Sarkin. Your dragon spells cost 1 less. And whenever a dragon you control enters, you may have Sarkin become a copy of it until end of turn, except its name is Sarkin, Soul of Flame, and it's a legend, and it's legendary in addition to its other types. We have Swashbuckling Extraordinaire. This is also Dragonborn, so whenever Swashbuckler Extraordinaire enters the battlefield, you create a treasure token, and when you attack, you can sacrifice 1 or more treasures, and when you do, up to that many creatures gain double strike until end of turn. Pretty strong overall, since we do have ways to generate treasures in our deck. We have Temur Battlecry. During your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. This can greatly reduce the cost of your dragons. And then we have Thrakus, the Butcher. He's a 3/4 for 5. When he attacks, double the power of each dragon you control until end of turn. He is also a dragon, and he's legendary, so that's pretty cool. You could double again with Miirym. We have Thunderbreak Regent. Whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability, this creature deals 3 damage to that player. Pretty simple, straightforward, 4/4 for 4. And then we have Ureni of the Unwritten. It's a 7/7 for 7, flying, trample, and when he enters or attacks, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a dragon card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Sorceries, primarily Ramp, Kodama's Reach, Rampant Growth, Traverse the Outlands, since we do have big creatures, will let you search up all of your basics, and Cultivate. For instance, we do have a little bit of Ramp with Growth Spiral, Entish Restoration, and Harrow. We have a little tiny bit of protection with counter spells. We have Beast Within in here for some removal. We have Blur, exile a creature you control, and then return it. So those ETB effects are pretty good there. Draconic Lore, costs 2 less if you control a dragon. You draw 3 cards. So drawing 3 cards for, 4 is not terrible. Chaos Warp for a little bit of removal. Dragon Fire deals a bunch of damage. You can reveal a dragon card from your hand. It deals 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker. If you reveal the dragon, or choose a dragon as you cast a spell, Dragon's Fire deals damage equal to the power of that card or creature instead. We have Rapid Hybridization for some removal, and then we have Return to Nature as destroy an artifact, enchantment, or exile a graveyard. Artifacts. We have a lot of mana rocks in here, and I know a lot of people hate on mana rocks because they're vulnerable, but we need mana rocks in this deck to power out some other things. So we got Soul Ring, you know, the classic. Same with Arcane Signet. Then we have Orb of Dragonkind, which is, you know, you tap one and tap it, add 2 mana of any combination. It can be spent on dragons, or you can tap a red, sacrifice it, look at the top 7 cards of your library, you can put a dragon, reveal them from among them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom. We have Jade Orb of Dragonkind. You can add a green, spend this to cast dragon creature spells. When you use it to cast dragon creature spells, they enter with a 1/1 counter on it and gain hexproof until end of turn. Lapis Orb of Dragonkind. Whenever you spend this mana to cast a dragon, you get to scry 2. Dragonstorm Globe. Each dragon you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter, adds 1. And Herd Heirloom. Add 1 mana of any color. Use it to only cast creature spells. Until end of turn, target creature you control power 4 or greater gains trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Pretty good value. We have Monster Manual, which you can mill 5 cards, then return a creature card milled this way to your hand, or you have its main ability, which is tap 2, tap it. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Pretty simple, straightforward. And we have Panoramanicon, since we have a whole bunch of ETB effects. We do have a decent amount of utility enchantments in here. We have Acolyte Bahamut. This gives your commanders have the first dragon spell you cast each turn, costs 2 less to cast. We have Collective Inferno. You choose a creature type, double all damage that sources you control of the chosen type would deal. Colossal Majesty. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a creature power 4 or greater, draw a card. Up the Beanstalk. So when it enters, whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, draw a card. Dragon Tempest. Whenever a creature you control with flying enters, it gains haste until end of turn. And whenever a dragon you control enters, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of dragons you control. Rising of the Day, so your dragons will have haste. Garruk's Uprising. When it enters, if you control a creature of power 4 or greater, draw a card. Your creatures have trample, and whenever a creature you control power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. And Encroaching Dragon Storm. Whenever this enchantment enters, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle, and whenever a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. So it's a little bit of more high-costed recursion for ramp. Then for our lands, we are running 7 islands, mountains. We got forests in here. We have Kessig Wolf Run, Rogue's Passage. I think a good one to drop would be drop Temple of the False God in favor of Secret Tunnel, because dragons share a creature type, making them unblockable. But yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I know I went about $120 under your requested budget of $250 max, but I wanted to leave you room to be able to customize the deck that way that you feel, and choose which selective upgrades you want to choose. I wanted to give you that little bit of space there. But if you want to see your commander made into a deck tech, drop it in the comments down below and I'll get that done for you. As always, I am Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.